Welcome to a new video where I want to compare the Zenfone 9 against the Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV. I did already lots and lots of comparisons regarding the camera, and now I want to compare those devices in terms of compact flagship devices and which one is better. So let's get started. We start off with those two devices and which one of those flagship devices is smaller, and you can clearly see it already. It is the Zenfone 9. As you can see here, the difference is not only in height but also in width, where the Xperia is a little bit taller but also not so wide, a little bit narrower than the Zenfone 9. When you hold it in your hand, both devices feel good, and you can see fingerprint unlocking is working fine. The position of the fingerprint is great. The position of the volume key, you have to move a little bit. I can go here and come to lower volume, but for upper volume I have to change my hand position. But as the device is so compact, I can hold it like this. It is no issue at all to change it with either hand. So here with my left finger, middle finger unlocking the device, no issues at all with this one here. It is working pretty nicely, and you can see it has a straight glass display, no curved display here, so it's working fine on the Zenfone 9, and equally good on the Xperia 5 Mark IV. I would even say a little bit, it feels a bit better, because like from the weight, I think both, this might be a little bit heavier, but as this one is wider, you have the feeling, okay, I cannot grip it completely here with all my fingers, but the Xperia, as it is narrow, it is possible that I can reach like also my ring finger here because it's so narrow. So it feels a bit more sturdy, it feels a bit more compact in the hand, just because I can grab it a little bit better here. In terms of like when I hold it like this and going to the power button and the fingerprint reader, you can clearly see there's no issue with this one. So fingerprint reader is working fine. Also the volume lower key I can reach without any issues. But the upper key I have to like change my hand position. So this is like the same in terms of ergonomics. The only big difference that you can see, definitely for sure, is in the display. So if I have both unlocked here, what we can see is clearly that the upper elements on the Xperia are harder to reach than on the Zenfone. If I want to reach something here on the upper part, you can clearly see it is easier done on the Zenfone than on the Xperia. On the Xperia it's easier to reach the bottom side, the other side of the screen here, but the upper side is a bit harder. So getting to the time here would be impossible for me. Here it would be possible on the Zenfone 9. So there's a difference in this. Both of course feature the possibility to go into the one-handed mode. So you just swipe down here and you're in one-handed mode. You can reach the top here. Or if you just want to bring down the notification shade, you can just simply swipe down and there's your notification shade. I'm not sure what it's showing there, but the same goes on the Xperia. We have the possibility to a bit harder here, but there to bring it down with the one-handed gestures. And of course, I can also swipe down to get to my notifications, so no issues there. In terms of ergonomics and usability, yes, the Xperia, despite being a bit taller, feels a bit more compact than the Zenfone 9, which is very, very compact already, but both, they feel very, very compact. And even if this feels a bit less, more compact than this one here, this one feels by default a bit more grippy, and this is where the Xperia fails completely, because it's glass on glass. So we have glass back and we have a glass front, and it's super, super slippery. Only the sides are not glossy, and you have the possibility to grab and hold onto them. But it can slip out of the hand, and it happened a few times. So my trick, usually what I do, I put it in my pocket. So let me get up here, put it in my pocket like this with the screen facing outwards, because like heat dissipation and so on. And then I take it on the screen, and then what I can do is like flip it like this in my hand, and then I can unlock it here with my other hand. So I have it like either this or this way. And what I can do is like flip it like this and have it for unlocking like this. So yeah, because it's so slippery, you can do this with this one here. On the Zenfone 9, however, we have a very, very grippy material on the back that feels very, very nice, I have to say. And it feels so nice that I don't feel like dropping this. We only have the glass back, we have the sides here. Sides is basically the same as here. The only difference is I think these feel a little bit more hollow on the Zenfone 9, where it feels a bit more solid and sturdy on the Xperia. So this feels a little bit hollow here. I'm not sure what materials they're using here, but anyway, this doesn't fall out of the hand, and it's such a grippy material. And we see one of the cool features, we have the possibility to configure lots and lots of stuff, just like, for example, what I did here. Double tap on the back, it detects it usually. And it's turning on the light, and I can also turn it off. So this is working pretty nicely as well. So yeah, I like this back here on the Zenfone 9 very, very much, and I would really like to see Sony doing something similar where it is a bit more grippy, because this is really very slippery here. And if you put it like this or this on a surface, it will just slowly move around and slip down, fall down in somewhere to its death probably. Otherwise, both very sturdy devices. Both feature a headphone jack here on the top, so you can listen to 3.5mm music here with your earphones, for example. And yeah, this is wonderful in terms of sound quality. Is something interesting here, because here I think the Zenfone 9 has a clear advantage with its stereo speaker setup. We have a stereo speaker setup here on the Zenfone 9. It sounds louder, fuller, more bassy, where the Xperia is less bassy. It is overall a good sound. It is not so loud. The mids are way better here than here, I would say. But overall, still, I would give the win for the Zenfone 9 because, yeah, this is something that in a hinge, if you have a problem, you can, with your speakers, Bluetooth speakers on a party, you can turn this on full maximum volume and people are still able to party, where this people might think it's a bit too quiet. So, my personal opinion. And what do you think? Let's just have a listen. Let's talk screen about both devices. 6.1 against 5.9 inch, both OLED screens, 120 Hz refresh rate, and good in terms of brightness. Though on manual brightness, the Xperia can get a little bit brighter. The peak brightness crown goes to the Zenfone 9. Which one is holding those high brightness levels a bit longer. It's the Xperia device here that has this new tweaked and improved screen that can hold its highest brightness level a lot longer than on the Zenfone 9. But in everyday to-day usage, when you're reading it outside, even in the sun, both are very, very good. When we talk about performance, both are very good in everyday to-day usage. But when you take a look at the values in benchmarks, of course, the Zenfone 9 with its 8 Plus Gen 1 Snapdragon processor is faster than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor on the Xperia. So you can see here the Geekbench points, and of course we can also go and check out the Antutu benchmark results, and here, yeah, it is a bit of a destruction of the Xperia 5 Mark IV, 700,000, 771 I think it is, and we have over 1 million here on the Zenfone 9. So the Zenfone 9 is quicker in this regard. But in everyday to-day usage, when you're opening applications, when you're browsing the web, you don't notice this difference. Even when playing games, there's not much of a difference here. The Zenfone 9 is clearly the winner here with the newer Snapdragon processor, but in everyday to-day usage, the Sony is not far behind. With all the speed difference and high power usage and so on, how's battery life? And this is something very, very interesting, because Sony, in this small, tiny little device, managed to cram in 5,000 mAh, where I was already amazed by the Zenfone 9 and a small little device to have 4,300 mAh. Sony beats it, not only in terms of milliampere hours, but also in terms of usage. So we have 7 to 8 hours screen on time here that I managed to get on the Zenfone 9, and 8 to 9 hours screen on time, sometimes even 10 hours on the Xperia 5 Mark IV. So I have to say that when it comes to gaming, for example, and taking a look how much the Zenfone 9 uses of its smaller battery than the Xperia 5 Mark IV, we have a slight advantage on the Zenfone 9, which loses a little bit less of battery when gaming demanding games than the Xperia 5 Mark IV. But both feature a USB Type-C, power delivery 3.0, 30 watt charging, so you can charge them up. This, I think it is 30 minutes and you have already 50%. So under an hour you can charge it to 100%. The same goes for the Xperia, a little bit over an hour, I think, and you have also charged it up with this charger, 30 watts charger. And there is something interesting, a big advantage for the Zenfone 9. It ships the 30 watt charger in the box. Even though it's a very large charger, it ships it in the box, which is, I think, very good in terms of having something to charge this, where here you have to get the charger yourself or use some third-party charger. That might not always work, so you have to have USB power delivery 3.0. Talking about the USB Type-C connection, we have USB Type-C, but only 2.0 transfer rate on the Zenfone 9, which is a big bummer, because getting all those photos of the devices, of videos especially of this device, is a bit of a pain, because it takes very long, especially those videos. 8K video you can record with this camera here on the back, which is like super amazing. But getting this off of the Zenfone, doesn't even have a micro SD card slot, just a normal hybrid and just a normal SIM, nano SIM, dual nano SIM slot here on the bottom, where the Xperia has a USB 3.1 speed option here, which allows you not to only have power delivery, not to have fast charging, but also display out, so you can view everything on a nice big large screen if you want to. And without a SIM eject tool, you can just get your nail, if you put it the right way, under here, and then you have your micro SD card and your micro SD card and your nano SIM card here that you can put in. So you have like an extension, 128 gigabytes internal space on both, but here you can put a 2 terabytes micro SD card in if you want to. Big advantage for the Sony in terms of this. Not only the speed, but also the micro SD card. One of the major gripes I have with the Zenfone 9. But what about photography? If I use, those cool little big lenses on the back, how is battery life then? Of course, then it's a bit shorter. Talking about photography, I made several videos about the comparison between them both. The Asus has a native app and you can use Gcam. The Gcam I personally prefer. It's much better than the native app, so I had to compare Gcam also with the Xperia 5 Mark IV. But in general, what you can say about software, first of all, the Xperia is a clear winner here in terms of software, because we get tons and tons of good software here, manually editing your photos the way you like it to be, like on a camera, for example, with the Photo Pro app. You have a Video Pro app, and you have even a Cinema Pro app if you want to take it on a gimbal and do some movie shooting, for example, or some short commercial or something like this. So the Xperia is clearly the winner here, with more options and also saner options sometimes, or details that you can change. For example, the headphone jack that both have, you can use to plug in a microphone, but here you always on the Zenfone 9 have to choose to use the external microphone because it's not automatically switching to it. Here you can set it and forget it, just set it once. You can even set the volume of the microphone, this volume level of the microphone, which is pretty nice indeed. So more flexible camera software. And it goes on. We have a more flexible camera hardware as well, just like, for example, we have a telephoto zoom here, 60 millimeter 2.5 times zoom, where the Zenfone 9 misses it with only an ultra wide angle and a main camera here, which is, sadly, the way it is. When it comes to other things, okay, Gcam support is a plus here. Here, the camera software by default is a good plus. Telecam is a plus. 4K 120 frames per second on all lenses of the Xperia 5 Mark IV is just awesome for slow motion footage if you want to do some B-rolls or something like this. And you even with the software have the possibility to live stream directly to YouTube, which is also pretty handy indeed. And of course, don't forget the best cool thing about Sony Xperia devices, a shutter button, a physical button that you can half press to focus and then press again completely to take the shot. Very cool on the Xperia. What do we have on the Zenfone? What's speaking for the Zenfone? Gcam support, because Gcam is improving a lot, and it's something that crashes all the time on the Xperia. So you have the possibility to get the best photos out of the Zenfone by using the Gcam. Then we have on the main lens, of course, the gimbal, which helps stabilizing stuff, especially when you have like lots and lots of movement and just for example, a road that is very bumpy. This gimbal camera will stabilize very good, and it is a good advantage point. 6-axis gimbal stabilization in here. Then we have also 8K video recording on the main cam, which is pretty awesome indeed. And it allows you to be future-proof when, maybe eventually using 8K monitor or something like this, or just cropping into a video to have just 4K but zoomed in a little bit is possible with this 8K recording. It's not the best quality here, but it is still very good, and is something that the Xperia just simply doesn't offer at all. Then we have some negative points as well, actually only on the side of, maybe the Xperia is very quickly. The negative point is like no Gcam support, it's just crashing. And here on the Zenfone, when it comes to cameras, we have like an AF on the front facing camera, which is, it's a good thing, but it doesn't really do much with the small tiny sensor. So it's something that, it's so meh. It's not a bad thing, it's a meh thing, I would say. But what is a major gripe is this main camera's autofocus issues with the native camera applications. It's always somehow focusing on the back. If you hold it like this, want to vlog yourself, always focusing on the back. So be aware that they have some autofocusing issues with the native cam. However, using Gcam, no issues at all regarding autofocusing. But also native cam here, over sharpening, over coloring, over punching, over processing in general on the Zenfone 9. Major gripe. Get the Gcam for this, otherwise you will cry. Here, almost no over processing, so this is a major feature of the Xperia. Then one thing that I forgot almost, macro capabilities. So the Zenfone 9's ultra wide angle has macro capabilities, so you can get very close to your subject and it's still focusing very nicely. So this is one very good point in terms of cameras. And I think now I have everything said about the cameras. Now let's come to the conclusion about those two devices here, and it's very hard. When you take a look at the price, then it's a no-brainer. The Zenfone 9 just simply offers a lot more. You get not only the device, you get a case on top of this. You get a charger, 30-watt charger as well. Case fits nice, by the way, and protects everything. So this is pretty awesome as of a deal for 800 euros, where this is 1,000 euros and you don't get a charger, you don't get a cable, you don't get a case. It's clear that this one here, in terms of price, is already the winner. And overall, I think the crown here for best device I have to give to the Zenfone 9, just because the price is so much cheaper. But when it comes to features only, not taking a look at the price, then the Xperia is a little bit in front. Micro SD card support, headphone jack, USB 3.1 with video out, a thinner device, a little bit more grippy of a device, where both are very compact, but if you nitpick, you have to nitpick in this price regions here. It is a bit of more a grippier device. So what's speaking for the Zenfone then? The price. The price and of course some of those features. I hope still that they will fix some of the camera issues that I have with this one here, especially with the native camera app. But overall, it's a very hard battle. And if both would have been the same price point, still this would be the better deal, because it comes with the charger. It gets you the charger, it gets you the case as well in the box, where here you don't have anything. So if the Xperia would be a bit cheaper, then of course the Xperia would be a no-brainer because of the better camera system in general, the better camera software in general. And I think I like them both. I cannot decide. You have to decide for me. Which one is your personal favorite? Which one is your personal winner here in this comparison? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this short little video. And if you have some questions regarding certain features, certain things that I did not mention in this video, you can ask them in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.